Hello, Living Grace Church, Pastor Dirk and I. So we can't meet, but we thought we'd just record a bit of a chat and maybe a word. So Dirk, how are you?
Yeah, good. Trying times, hey?
Yeah.
Trying times.
So, the news are changing every day. Like, how have you been processing it?
Well, it's a bit surreal. Every time that we've made a decision on something, next time you see the news update and it changes again. So we thought, hey, we can do, small groups. Now, small groups can't happen. And it's like, everything is dwindling down to basically just the next person that you see.
Yeah, so...
And even that's social distancing.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So, probably feeling a bit for everyone, just all the sudden changes, and then we make a contingency plan, and then a day later, we can't do that either. So, in this time, I think the encouragement for all of us is to focus on God and the basics, and what our faith is all about, and getting us through this season.
No, I think that's a good message actually to start right there. Get back to the basics.
Yeah.
Everything has been taken off every layer and you're kind of like coming down to just the basics. And I think maybe God is just putting everything down to just, where is God in all of that? Because it's been pushed out of every layer.
Yeah.
So now it's just in the basics. Where are we with God?
Yes. And I think it's really important because the messages every day, social media, the newspaper, it's all about the virus. It's all about the virus, and it's stirring up fear. And, some real fears, some people at risk, but then with the economy and everything, but it's just all consuming. And as Christians, the all consuming message is God, and that we can trust Him, and that we are not a people that is lost, and we don't have a God that is lost. He says, all the kingdoms, everything in the world, He can shake, but He got a kingdom that is unshakable.
And this idea about God shaking things is actually a very biblical thing, that God is going to be doing some shaking and quaking kind of stuff. Everything rattles and rolls a bit, which is like a time that we're in. Yeah. But the interesting thing is that with that shaking is that also I think that shaking is happening in the church in a bit, because we are unsettled because we think church is going to church on a Sunday. It's a building. We know the address. We go there.
Yes.
But now we're being dispersed. And it's almost like God is saying, just keep in mind that you're the church wherever you are, not, So we haven't stopped gathering. We still gather around God's word. And we still gather in terms of our connections. But we're just not gathering in one place at the moment. That's put on pause for a while.
Yeah. And I guess it's a great opportunity, but it is also a bit of a challenge, because I guess this is now the time, Living Grace, where, when you can meet in the bigger gathering, you can sort of drift along a little bit, and, the others can encourage you and so on. But if we can't meet, it's actually the call is on each individual Christian to rise up and be mature and actually practice their faith.
Yeah.
So they're not all these other people that, even though social media, online, you can do stuff, but it is a bit of a call. I actually got to stand on my own 2 feet.
Yeah. Maybe that's actually just the right time that God has us. That it's like, even I know that you've shared it with the leaders that, it's been a time of feeding everyone who gathers in church, but it's a time to stand up now and saying, look, it's not so much about feeding anymore, it's about actually taking that on and living it. Live the word out every day where you are.
Yes. And this time of actually testing it out, whether the faith actually works.
Testing it out.
Will God actually be true to His promises? Can I trust Him?
Yeah.
Will I be safe with Him? Can I receive encouragement from Him and all of that? So
actually, as you have that idea of trusting Him, there's a word that always helps me in times of difficulties and everything else. It's actually from, if you want to have a look it up in your own translation and read maybe a little bit more about it, but Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6. And I've got in my little gateway.com section here, it says from wisdom's guidance. So trust in the Lord completely. That's what I think that what God is saying. Trust in me.
Yeah.
So put your trust in me. Trust in the Lord completely, and do not rely on your own opinions. Now, your own understanding. I think and there are a lot of opinions around at the moment.
Yes.
Man, this is probably right there is the challenge that we've got. Trusting God, what He's saying, or looking at the opinions of what's going around. With all your heart, rely on Him to guide you, and He will lead you in every decision you make. Become intimate with Him in whatever you do, and He will lead you wherever you go. And I think that last part there is also very important at the moment. Become intimate with Him in whatever you do.
Yeah.
I think, this whole thing about, I know in some denominations, this whole idea about Lent that we're in before Easter is about giving things up.
Yes.
But maybe God is actually saying, I'm going to strip those things off anyway, which is happening at the moment.
Yeah.
But I want you to build things up. And that intimacy is not about taking things off. I'm giving up chocolate for Lent, but actually getting back into God's Word and spending more time, because God is giving us time to do that.
I like the part in the verse where it says, give yourself completely to trusting Him.
Yeah.
With all of your heart. It's a decision you make.
Yeah.
Can I actually trust Him? And then, all out, all your heart, all your passion, all your thinking is, no, I can rely on God and He will guide me through this time.
Yeah.
And we are safe with Him. So, yes, I think that's a great verse. And living grace. So I think, maybe that's the end of the chat for today. Dirk and I probably want to do this maybe from Monday to Friday, and then on the weekend give a proper message. Actually, give a good sermon length word for the church. But want to touch base, want to encourage you, as we're all a bit in isolation, but encourage one another, and want to say we love you and we miss you. Blessings.